Hello and welcome back to the Wet Brain Cheeks Premier League companion side piece. I'm one of your co-hosts, Dean Doyle, and I bring to you the most revered and respected fantasy analysis on this side of the Atlantic. We're talking about Game Week 50. Fuck off. Let's go again. Hello there. Welcome to Wet Brain Cheeks Fantasy Premier League companion side piece. I'm one of your co-hosts, Dean Doyle, and I bring to you the most revered and respected fantasy analysis on this side of the Atlantic. We're talking about Game Week. Game Week. Like, why is that a thing? Why is that in my head? Let's go again. Hey, how are you? Welcome to Wet Brain Cheeks Fantasy Premier League companion side piece. I'm your co-host, Dean Doyle. One of your co-hosts at least, and I bring to you the most revered and respected fantasy analysis on this side of the Atlantic. We're talking about Game Week 15, baby. Just as Game Week 16 is about to start. That's pretty sexy. Let's take it from here, Dean, shall we? Yeah, I think we should, Dean. Let's go. So, losing the absolute plot aside, I've had a pretty rough week. Outside of fantasy football, I am currently suffering with 2 ear infections in each ear. So I've got 4 ear infections at the moment. So I am pretty much relying on pure perseverance, and that's it. Pure perseverance, and if this is going to go well, because it sounds like my head is dunked into a tub of gravy at the minute. So I can hear myself pretty clear, but the stuff around me I cannot hear. I'm out of work sick, and I will be until next week at some stage. That's how bad it is. My work is predominantly on phones. I cannot be on phones. I can talk into a microphone, but do not expect me to listen back now. Just don't. There's a lot to talk about, and this will be the second last FPL podcast before the World Cup. But before the World Cup kicks off next week, I will be looking into getting a pool going. In terms of, if people want to get into it, like 20 quid a head to get a couple of teams in the World Cup, and maybe we can do like little bits of podcast on that. Not as much. I know it's not a lot to begin with with the fantasy football, but it'll be a little bit less. There might be a little more so Instagram updates than anything else. But if you're interested, do not hesitate. Let us know. We've already got a couple of heads. Not as much as I would like, but enough. So let me know. In going back to fantasy football, the top 5 remains completely unchanged. Derek Carey is in first. Michael Rooney is in second. Andy Guthrie is in joint third with Jason Gay. And Adam Kennedy he's technically in fourth, but it's fifth. It says fifth on the league table, so we're gonna say fifth. Luke McLeod, aka Trev, is back up into sixth, followed by Paul Grant in seventh, who is 3 points behind Trev. Steve O'Ward drops down to 8th, but he's still only 21 points outside the money positions. Like, there's not, like, to be honest, in the whole area, there's not a lot of points between the whole mid-table and third spot. There's not a lot of points to bridge the gap. So everyone is kind of in contention for the money. Like, I think a lot of people thought that, once this game week coming up ends and the World Cup starts, that's it. People are getting paid out. It's not. There's another, I think, at least 2 game weeks. 2, if not 3. Steve O'Ward, I went to a gig with 2 of the managers, actually. Earlier on the week, I went with Jason Gay, who is pushing for that money spot. Steve O'Ward, who was not particularly happy about me slating him on the podcast, but here we are. And Stephen Ryan, who I have slated many times on the podcast, and he still listens. I went to a gig with the three of them in the middle of the week, which possibly made my whole ear infection thing worse. And what was the point of that? Why was I saying that? Oh yeah, basically they were telling me how unhappy they were about the situation. Look, and they weren't only just telling me that they were unhappy about the situation, they were also telling me how happy they were about how bad I was doing. Steve O'Ward in particular. But what can I do? Do you know what I mean? I don't make the rules. I'm like the podcast wouldn't be good crack without me talking slander. Talking slander. That was actually very polite. Talking shit. You're all shit cunts. Me especially. But yous are shitter cunts. Don't care where I am at the table. That's how it is. The top scorer of the game week was another person I talked a lot of shit about. Was Debo O'Neill. He got 79 points. Now let me tell you about this a little bit. I managed to get 78 points this week, which was the second highest points of the game week. I was so convinced. I have all the top scores since game week 1 written out in notes on my phone. I was so confident that I was getting it this week that I wrote my own name down first, and I went back over the game week scores, and Debo pipped me by 1 due to bonus points, and it was pretty heartbreaking. Like I've nothing really much to cling onto on this side of the fancy league. Like obviously the second half it's all to play for, but this one really all I have to go on. I haven't got one top score, which it goes for a lot of people, but my God, I got 78 points and didn't manage to move an inch. Like I didn't move. I'm still in the 23rd, and I didn't even make that much ground on the people around me, to be honest. Like I'm still like after 78 points, I'm still 11 points behind 22nd, who only got 45 this week. Owen Hegarty though, moved up to 20th to the 20th spot. He's moving, and he got a pretty admirable 68 points for that sort of game week. David Grant is making me feel so much better about myself. But we're all in this together, aren't we? It's really not. It's a much of a muchness. There's nothing to be proud about down on the bottom here. Stephen Ryan. I could actually possibly catch Stephen Ryan at this stage in the last 2 or 3 game weeks after the World Cup. Unlikely, considering my form, but very, very possible. I don't know if there's that much else to talk about. There wasn't a lot of movement on the table, and as I said, there is one more game week before the World Cup, and then after the World Cup there's going to be a lot of changes. Myself and Hegarty should be recording maybe for the last fancy football podcast some stage next week to go over this weekend's fixtures, and maybe a little bit might have changed, but Derek Carey is looking solid. He's only 9 points in the lead, but everyone has the same team now. Do you know what I mean? It's gonna be hard to make ground on people now. But hey, if you do, I'm proud of you, baby. I'm proud. So that's it. There's not an awful lot else to say. I hope to Christ, because I can't hear anything, that I am talking at a normal level into this mic, because it sounds like I am, but it might be very low. But who knows? Anyway, I hope you have a good weekend. I hope the fancy Premier League is kind to you, and I hope the team that you support does shite unless you support Liverpool. Other than that, yeah. Actually, let's have a look there real quick. Yeah, the only team that I don't mind out of everyone in this fantasy group doing well is Rory Ford. He's part Celtic, which is allowed. I don't mind if his team that he supports as well. Then it makes absolutely no odds to me or any of us, to be honest. Toodles. That's it. Toodles. It's 4:09 a.m. I need to go to bed. Bye bye.